Hi y'all, it's Andrea over at Sewspire.com, and today I am here with recipe 13. So if you remember, in recipe 12 we designed and stitched the back of our backpack. So today what I hope to accomplish is the front panel and then showing you how to actually assemble the exterior, which will comprise attaching the sides and the base to the front and the rear panels. So let's go ahead and get started. In this design, I will be incorporating side pockets along the side panels. And what I've done is pre-cut those pockets and then just add a little bit of quilting to the fronts of those pockets because this print was so adorable. I couldn't resist, and so what I did was just every other banner I quilted. And these pocket pieces measure 8 by 5 inches. So each piece is 8 inches tall by 5 inches wide, and there is a lining for each. And what you'll do is, if you want to quilt, you'll add the batting and then quilt the front of the pocket, and then take your lining and your front and press over that top edge about 1/2 inch. And then you're going to position that lining with the right side facing out behind that quilted pocket panel, and then just stagger that lining slightly so that it peeps up over the top. And then you'll go ahead and straight stitch across that to finish. I like to add a second row of stitching. I think it offers a nice finished look. So I'm going to go ahead and top stitch both of those pockets. Okay, so that's what the pockets look like when they're finished. And then I have the coordinating polka dot on the back for the lining. And so those pockets are going to sit on side panels, which measure 5 inches wide by 16 inches tall. And I will go ahead and position that pocket and then hold it up so that you can see what that looks like on the side panel there. And these are sized perfectly to hold the larger cell phone nicely. In that, I'm going to go ahead and position the pockets on both of those side panels, and then I can set those aside. If I didn't mention it, the base of the pocket gets aligned with the base of the side panel. And again, there's a look at that. And so then you can set both of those aside. And then the next step is to craft the key fob, which is going to be attached to the exterior under the zipper trim. And so this key fob measures 4 by 8, and it is assembled just like I assemble my strap. So you'll press that in half long ways, open that up and bring the outer edges inward to meet on that center press line, and then fold that over, and you'll stitch along that open edge and then the folded edge to finish. That's what the bob looks like, and I'll set that aside. And then moving on to the front pockets, which are going to be comprised of a full length zipper pocket and then a 2-way divided slip pocket. You will need 4 pocket panels, which measure 13 inches wide by 8 inches tall. For this, I had the home decor fabric for the exterior, and then I had the cotton for the lining on that. I did the same thing, and I pressed those top long edges over about 1/2 inch, And then I did the same thing with the front of that pocket. And then I want to stagger that slightly so the accent fabric peeks out over the top. And so this is the two-way divided slip pocket. So I've pressed the center stitch line into that, and that's what you see there. So I just want to go ahead and secure the lining to the front of the pocket. And so I'm going to top stitch just as we did for those side pockets, right across the top lip of this, and then I'm going to add a second row of stitching just below that. Okay, and so that's what the slip pocket looks like. That's going to sit right on the front of the full-length zipper pocket. So I'm going to set that aside. The zipper pocket is crafted from the same size fabric that the slip pocket is crafted from. The only difference is you're not going to pop up that top edge. You want that to sit nice and flush, and what you're going to do is sandwich your zipper right in between those two top edges. So I have this really fun bright orange zipper that's going to match perfectly, and this is should be a 12-inch zipper, but you know, with the zipper tape it measures 12 3/4 inches, which is absolutely perfect for this project. So I'm just going to sandwich that zipper tape in between those two layers of fabric, and then I'm going to go ahead and show you what that looks like. So I have that zipper tape tucked nice and neat inside of there, and then I have some trim for my zipper, and this trim measures 13 inches across by 5 inches wide, and that's crafted in the same way. Fold it in half long ways, press, and bring those outer edges inward to meet on that center press line, and press again. And then what you're going to do is insert the top of your zipper tape right in between that fold and pin it in place. So you're essentially framing out your zipper with a pocket on the base and this trim along the top. And that's what that looks like. Now before you stitch this in place, you're just going to want to test your zipper and make sure that your fabric isn't sitting too low, because you don't want the fabric to get swept up into the zipper teeth. If you're happy with how that functions, you can go ahead and stitch very close along that top edge and along the pocket edge to secure the zipper to this panel. All right, and now I have that zipper secured, and I believe this is a jean zipper because you can lock it in place by flipping that zipper pull up. So that will be especially useful for this project, as you would have to know that you got to move that zipper in order to unzip the pocket. So that's an extra layer of security for me. So I just want to once again verify that the zipper functions nice, and it does. And now I want to go back in and add that second row of stitching to reinforce that zipper. All right, and now my zipper panel is complete there. And what I want to do is bring back over my two-way divided slip pocket, and I want to layer that right on top of this zipper panel with the two-way pocket sitting just slightly below that zipper. And I will show you exactly what that looks like. Okay, so I popped that pocket just below that second row of stitching because I don't want to hide that awesome stitching. And so here basically I have the zipper pocket on the underside and that slip pocket right on front. Now I want to go in and divide that slip pocket by stitching along that center press line. I'm going to reinforce with a back stitch at the top because that'll be a stressor point. All right, so that's what that looks like. So I have my full length zipper pocket and a two-way divided slip pocket. Now it's time to bring in the front body panel, which you'll remember measures 13 by 16 and is also backed with quilt batting. And what I'm gonna do is position this pocket panel right on top of that body panel, and I want to align the base of the zipper pocket with the base of the body panel. The pockets, you'll remember, are staggered, so there is a little bit of difference there in the height of those pockets, and you wouldn't want it to finish this and then realize there's a hole basically in the bottom of your zipper pocket. So here's what it looks like from the front on the body panel, but from the back you can see that pocket hangs down just a little bit. So when you look underneath and lift up those layers, that zipper pocket should sit flush with the base of your body panel. And then I regret my key fobs are silver and my zipper is gold, so I am hesitant to add the silver fob to this bag with this gold zipper. And I really do want to have a key fob, but as you know, it's not like I can run out to the store to buy the hardware I want because everything is currently closed and it is taking forever to get shipments in the mail. So I think I'm gonna have to mix and match metals here and go ahead and thread this key fob on here because I want the key fob more than I want my hardware to match. So I can always just tuck it inside the pocket if needed. All right, so what I've done is thread the fob onto my key fob strap, and you just want to clean up those edges, and then you're going to tuck that fob in between that top zipper trim, probably at center, and I'll show you what that looks like. You can position it anywhere you want, but mine is going to be able to then tuck inside of that exterior pocket. So with the weight of the keys, it will sit down in that pocket and no one will notice that my hardware doesn't match except for me. So that's how that's going to be secured in there. Now it's time to go ahead and run 2 rows of stitching along the top of that zipper trim. Reinforce with a back stitch at the key fob, as that is going to be a stress point for you. And this stitching here will attach that pocket panel to your front body panel. And I am going to go ahead and add that second row of stitching. All right, I got that front panel complete. I really like the look. I have my 2 slip pockets, my full length zipper, and my key fob nice and handy there. Now the next step in this process is to attach the side panels to this front pocket panel. Okay, so I have my front panel here on the table, I'm just going to go ahead and pin that key fob in place so that it doesn't accidentally flop over. I want to make sure that all of my zipper teeth and zipper pull are out of the way of the seam, so I'm going to set that aside. Then I'm going to bring over my side panels, which you remember have the great pockets on them, and I'm going to position those right sides facing along the right and the left hand sides of this front pocket panel. I want to pin everything in place. When you get down to the pockets there, you are sewing through a lot of layers, but better to have all those layers towards the bottom than the top, where we're going to be folding over the edge and creating additional bulk. You should be okay though with the layers down here at the base. And so that panel is now prepared. Then I need to bring over the panel that we made last week with the straps on it, and I'm going to position that on the table. And I also want to pin these straps out of the way, so I'm just going to kind of squish those down in towards the middle and flatten them a bit. I just don't want them to get caught up in the side seam. So now I need my base panel, which measures 13 by 5 and is also quilted. And I'm going to position that along the base of this strap panel. And I'm going to pin that in place. And now when I head back to the machine, I'm going to be stitching across the base of this to attach the base to the strap panel, and then I'm going to be stitching down the long sides of the pocket panel to attach the sides to that. For those of you that are familiar, this is the T method of construction. And for this, I am using 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, I have the base attached to the strap panel. I'm going to remove those pins, and then likewise I have the sides attached to the pocket panel. Because there are so many layers down there, just peel everything back with your fingers and make sure that you have in fact captured all of the layers of those pockets and those sides. It would be easy for something to shift and you to miss a layer. Now is the time to verify that, because it's a quick fix if for any reason the fabric got away from you. All right, so now I have the trifold panel. Now what I want to do is align the base of my strap panel with the base of the trifold panel right down here. And so I'm going to center that base on this trifold panel and then stitch seam to attach that to create that giant T formation, which is why I call this the T method. I have attached that strap panel to my pocket panel, and now you can see I have a big fat T. The next step in this process is to attach these sides to the side of the strap panel. And so you're just going to bring that up and align it and pin it in place. And once you get both of these sides attached, you will really see the bag starting to take shape, and it will be obvious to you what we are doing and where we need to stitch. So just take care when you're pinning to get the layers of that pocket aligned with the edge of the fabric, because your batting will tend to creep over there and could cause you to miss catching some of that fabric in the seam allowance. So a few extra pins are very useful down there by the pocket. And then of course you also want to make sure that you're clearing the strap. So if you feel anything really bulky in there, double check. And so now you're going to repeat the same process on the other side, and just begin by lining up the top of that side, getting a pin in place, and then you can work down to the pocket and get that nice and straight. And then before you start sewing, stand your bag up and look inside of there and double check that that strap is not caught up and that that pocket is nice and flat and everything looks good. Then what you're going to do is stitch from the top of that right down to the seam, and then you repeat that process on the other side. And then if it looks good from the outside, go ahead and remove your pins and then look on the inside as well. You can test out your pockets at this point as soon as you get the pins out of them, and kind of just, your hand may or may not fit inside of there depending upon how large your hand is. Mine just barely fits, which is fine because I will only be reaching in to just grab my phone. So that's not a problem for me. And it does look really good. So the last thing that I have to do is seal up these two remaining seams at the base. And I'm going to do that by aligning the base of the side with the side of the base. I just pull that nice and taut and then stitch seam to seam, and I'll repeat that process for both sides. All right, and now it's time to turn it right side out and poke out those corners. Just gonna peek one more time and make sure I didn't forget any pins in there. You don't like to poke yourself. And then go ahead and grab it from the base there and turn it around. And then poke out those corners really good. I did not trim up those corners because this exterior fabric is the home decor, so it's woven, and over time it will fray, so I want a lot of seam allowance intact there so that I don't get a hole in my bag at any point. Oh, I really like the size of this. This is so nice. Here's what the exterior looks like. Crazy cute. Aw, if only I could go out and use it. Super cute. And I'll show you the phone is going to fit exactly perfect inside of there. It's tucked in and protected, but I could just reach it with 2 fingers, but yet the quilting offers it a lot of protection on the front and the back. So here's where we're at with the bag. Again, I just think it's adorable. I hope you like it as well. Only regret is I don't have the gold hardware, but I can hide that inside of there. And I may even add a snap to this so that I can snap that in place so that it is secure in the pocket. So to recap, I have the key fob, the 2 front pockets, the 2 side pockets, the full length zipper pocket, and then the custom fit padded straps. This is really turning out to be a wonderful bag. So next week we'll begin the interior, and then I think we're still going to need one more week after that to finish the zippered top closure and the little short handles that I envisioned for this project. So we have a lot to look forward to. I'm excited to see your exteriors come together and to hear what you think of the project so far. So I will see some of you on Thursday for our second live chat in my ongoing masterclass, and then I will see some of you on Friday for the live chat on the Facebook group page, and hopefully everyone else next Tuesday to finish the interior of this backpack. So until then, I hope you're well. I hope you have everything you need to be safe and healthy in this crazy time. Please know that I am thinking of you and sending you lots of love. And until we meet again, as always, the creative genius in me will be celebrating the creative genius in you. Have a beautiful week, everyone.